is you continue indulging. You do have the awareness, yes, you know. When that awareness sets in, then you what do? You don't want to consume that awareness in a negative way on yourself. And you slowly want to move away from it. One, because you have got the awareness. Two, you have gathered the knowledge. Both together tell you that what you're doing is not right. Your own understanding makes you say, somewhere I must, and change is always good. With all these factors built in and with your understanding, you can only move to a good change. You can't move to a not so good change. Then that awareness comes in. Then you know that, physically also it's not good for you. It's only going to harm but not do anything good for you. Your system, your digestion, everything is going to go for a toss. Then you slowly and steadily not only try to make a change, but you also try to propaganda that change. Talk about it. So in your own way you become a little master and a saint, don't you? So people who come in contact with you and they talk to you, and then you also pass on that knowledge why you think that meat eating is not good. You don't force your impressions on anybody right away by saying, I told you, so stop it. You can't do that. So likewise, when you come in touch with great masters, ignite that little energy that is within you for you to experience the goodness that they pass on. It's like you're connecting the wire, the plug, to the main socket. But till you don't do that, the electricity doesn't pass through. So does it make sense in saying that impressions that you think you are going to gather, you will, if you come across or you are in contact with good energy, you will contact good energy. But if you're not in very good company, obviously no scope for you to improvise.
Basically, thanks for clarifying, Baba. What I'm understanding is the oversimplification of impression creation is not true. What you're saying is creation of impression is a process. It has got stages, it has got steps, like you give one, two, three, four different sequences, and therefore it is not only as simple as touching someone and you get impressions. You, through association and a complex process of systematic progression, assimilation, reflection, practice, you create impressions. Am I right in understanding what you mentioned?
Most certainly. So when somebody probably read about Baba or heard of Baba or came in contact with their own personal stories, you didn't right away get attracted to Baba. It was a process. You had your own questions, you had your own inhibitions, you had your own doubts, you needed a lot of clarification.
Right.
Is this my real master? Right, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, what I'm associating with, is this the correct path for me? But when you read more, when you hear more, when you're in that more satsang, where you are only in that environment who talks about Baba, who tells you more stories about Baba, their own personal and others, then that slowly and steadily that change sets in. Then you start relating to that, everything that you've heard, exposed to. Then you do your own research. From there you build it for your own self. Right?
Correct.
Slowly and steadily, the impressions of that master completely or to some extent overtake you.
So it is a slow process, not a one day you touch the master's feet and you get all the good impressions.
No,
It's a process,
absolutely.
slowly and steadily.
Absolutely.
So my question therefore will be that what happens to the other processes of physical touch of human being one with the other? So like they say, the people who are in love, they obviously have physical touch. Husband and wife, they have physical touch. There are Laila and Majnu, or the stories of Lady MacDonald's and Jesus Christ. Those are pure love oriented relationship. So my question is, then the same thing can be extended to those human form of physical touch, that you just don't get impressions just by touching, but over a period of time you exchange impressions of one another in such human form relationship. Is that correct?
Yes, in physical body you have your own impressions. You have, you know, the feeling of touch, seeing, smell. All these impressions are within the physical body, isn't it? It just doesn't happen. Probably, physical attraction probably may start with you liking somebody's face, somebody's body language, somebody's attitude, lots of things,
Right.
right? But you don't take to it right away. You take your time.
Hmm.
You will you will experiment. You will expose yourself both ways. Correct. And then when you feel that you have a comfort, thereafter you want to put some content to that relationship
Hmm.
and see where it can take you. You will also fall out of that relationship if you feel you're not in sync. You may even decide to marry and still fall out of that relationship. Correct. But when the soul is in physical body, these elements and impressions is the only way that you can interact.
Hmm.
In the astral world, it is not there.
Hmm.
It's only when the soul is in physical body.
Correct.
That's when you produce. That's when you have children. That's how birth happens. That's how more souls come. Take physical body. Without that, it is not going to happen. So, as a family unit, also when a soul chooses a family, a set of parents, it comes by and large, it's the same kind of,
Oh, same sanskaras come in the
to a large extent.
large
If
extent.
you see your own family unit, I'm just saying, for example, if you are a very restless person, you will pass on that DNA to your children. You will see it in them. If you are calm personality, very giving and very easygoing, you will see it in one of your siblings, or you will see it in one of your children. Not in all of them, but you will see in some of your children. That likewise, you because they are from your own flesh and blood, you will pass on that DNA. So, because the soul's journey is all about spiritually, birth after birth, elevating itself and eventually releasing itself completely from that circle, whatever you may call it nirvana, or you may call it, what is that word? Liberation. Nirvana liberation is about completely not coming back to that cycle of birth and death. When a great master comes, they are liberated because they don't come with any karmic cycle. Whatever they do, they come for the good of mankind and humanity, right? So what karmic cycle can touch them? They're very superly charged, pure energy that comes.
Correct.
So they come to deliver, they come to do the good work, and they go sans. They are charged, and they come to the whole lineage of Mahavatar Babaji and Yogananda ji and Ramakrishna, and including myself, many more, many more, which you are not even exposed to or know of in the whole world and universe. All they are doing is downloading good energy. They are coming, literally open that third eye. As you say, when you meditate on the third eye, or between your eyebrows, and you concentrate on that, or you concentrate on the medulla oblongata, which is just behind your neck. That is where your entire energy force resides. And if you concentrate and you meditate, you will feel that energy moving within you. So they come to download that energy to you. It's like, I am that socket. It's for you to plug your energy into my socket.
And that's how the impressions are passed on.
So, master to a student, the guru will deliver you to your God, as we say. They are like a medium, they are like middlemen.
So all the creation of impression or passing on impression is basically through association. And I think some misunderstanding has been created that it's touch. It's not touch. It is association.
It is association, yes.
And association, you learn through association. Like you gave the example of parents.
Yes.
You gave the example of teachers. You gave the example of society. So all these entities create association, and the association passes on the impressions.
Correct.
And that's how we experience impressions, and we accept some, reject some, and then
So true. So, if, for example, if you come across a false monk or a charlatan, and you touch their feet, your own aura will stop that energy from getting into you. So you have to charge yourself. You have to give your own self spiritual immunity.
So it will act like a protective, my aura will act like a protective
Yeah, yeah. You know, when you
shield.
say that in our Hindu culture, you touch the feet of your elders.
Hmm.
Your elders can't pass on any not so good karma to you, right? They can only bless you.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean you go touching anybody's feet. It's
Hmm.
not required.
Hmm.
You got it.
Yes.
You don't have to do that. But in your own family, as this is our Hindu scriptures,
Hmm.
you seek the blessings by bowing down. When you bow down, or you do like a namaskar, or you're showing your respect.
Hmm.
You're being humble.
So basically, when you're showing your respect, you're opening up yourself
Exactly.
to get something from that
Yes.
person
Yeah.
by
Saying that.
accepting it.
Yes. Yes. So you are in. You're like saying you're in authority,
And I'm accepting
and
you.
I'm accepting you.
And that's how you
Correct.
drop your shield and you open your gates for impressions to come through association of the other person.
Correct.
So
So,
it's a very complex process. It's not a very simple that I
no,
touch someone's feet
no,
or
not at all.
touch someone physically and I get
No, not at all.
impressions transferred both ways.
So Baba is just reminding me